guest at this time can only be described as a luminary of both the small and the silver screen. You may have recognized him from such projects as Dylan Dog, Dead of Night, Legends of Tomorrow, and of course, from humble beginnings for a starry-eyed boy from the Midwest, much like myself, who can think of a better role, a more perfect role for this man to play than that of Bobby Long in Zack and Miri Make a Porno. Regardless, it is my pleasure to make my introduction here, so if you will all please join me in giving a warm Duke City Comic-Con welcome to the man of the hour, Mr. Brandon Routh.
All right. Rock and roll.
All right, so I suppose the first question is this the smallest crowd you've ever worked in front of?
Oh, no. Maybe the smallest panel that I've done.
Oh, there you go.
But maybe not.
Okay,
I've
but
done a lot of conventions.
they do build up out over the years, don't they? So one of the subjects that had been brought up to me by fans before was how nice was it to reprise your role in Scott Pilgrim Takes Off?
Oh yeah, it was awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I was very excited about the opportunity to get together and be a part of the Scott Pilgrim universe. It's been, ever since the movie came out, it's just been growing in popularity, and it's a kind of one of those movies that has really drawn a lot of different groups of people together that don't normally agree on everything. And this is kind of a movie that everyone kind of, everybody likes this movie. If you like, I don't know, something about it anyway. That's different than other projects I've been in. And getting to play Todd Ingram more and kind of have more screen time as him was also fun, even though it was animated. I got to do the voice. So.
Oh yeah, sounds like a lot of fun, and I understand you also voiced a character, I believe it was Hesh in Call of Duty Ghosts.
Yes, that is correct, yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool, just because I know for a lot of the younger fans that we've got in attendance who are absolute COD fanatics, that was something really cool to hear about.
Yeah, that was a fun thing to take part in and learn from. And, the biggest video game that I've done, other than Superman Returns video game, back in the day, but I've done the voice for a couple other different games also, but that's been kind of the biggest one.
Really? Okay, that is really cool. And I understand that you have voiced Superman for the animated screen as well.
Well, not for the screen, did I? I think I did it for the video game.
Okay.
So I'm forgetting something.
Well, considering the fact that this is a gentleman with a career spanning over 20 years, it's it's a filmography
it's awesome.
a mile long.
Just like I have.
And speaking of 20 years, as you can see, some of the fans that we've got here could not possibly have been around for some of your earlier work. So, if you wouldn't mind, just in case everybody was wondering who the improbably handsome gentleman is sitting right next to me, who he is and how he actually got here, could you tell us a little bit about your origin story?
In a nutshell, I'm from Norwalk, Iowa. Population at the time I was there, about 6,000 or 7,000 people. Lived next to Des Moines. It's only 5 miles away from the movie theater and the bowling alley. But those are about the only things exciting to do growing up, and except for the Iowa State Fair. Did all my stuff, was in all kinds of music and church choir, school choir, swing choir, band, jazz band, marching band, played piano. My parents are both musicians. My dad's a drummer, jazz drummer, my mom's a singer. And they met back in the mid-'70s playing jazz together. And so I grew up in a musical performing family. I never thought I'd be an actor, really. Went to the University of Iowa, as an English major because I wanted to be a writer at the time. And then it's a wonderful place to do that. And I'm a Hawkeye, so that helped. But I did that for a year until a door was opened kind of to investigate modeling and acting locally in Iowa, which I thought, hey, maybe I can make some more money as a poor college student instead of working in my dorm as a lab monitor in the computer room, which was fun. Anyway, that turned into going to New York, and I met my first actual manager from Los Angeles, and he said that was the first time anybody said, hey, anybody ever tell you look like Christopher Reeve? I'm a big fan. If there's ever a movie or TV show that they're doing a Superman, I'm definitely going to get you an audition. I was like, okay. Then I moved to LA, to Downey, California, with my great aunt and uncle Dan and Sue Brown, and was there for about 6 months. And went back to Iowa for the summer to make money so I could afford a place of my own, and worked a temp job for the summer. Went back out to LA. Then I got a soap opera in New York. Moved to New York for a year. Got fired from the soap opera, thankfully, so I could come back and do other things. Came back to LA, didn't work for about a year. A year and a half as an actor was probably the worst time. I got 2 day jobs, one packing boxes and packing peanuts in the boxes and the labeling and sending them off for this gentleman. And also worked at Al Reed's Steakhouse, which was a nice older steakhouse way outside of town, where I probably made about $50 a night on tips, which was almost as much as the gas they gave me there. But it was fun. And then I finally found a better representation again. Got a job at Lucky Strike Lanes, which is a much better bartending job, where I worked for about a year until the Superman stuff started happening. And that was a 7-month process. And that was 2004. And then in 2005, January 2005, I went to Sydney, Australia for about 10 months, filmed Superman Returns, came back. 2006, the movie came out, and then other stuff.
That is awesome. So,
it's pretty nutshell.
What was the transition like from going from Superman to going to playing the Atom in Legends of Tomorrow?
It was really great. I was concerned at first, before I said yes to the opportunity, because I wanted to understand why I should play another character when I played the best that there is. And when I heard that they wanted Ray Palmer to bring levity, to bring laughter and some lighter moments to season 3 of Arrow, I was very excited about that, because my first love is comedy. My favorite thing to do as an actor, and then I had the opportunity to, really craft Ray Palmer. Nobody had played him for a significant time anyway on screen ever, so that was a unique opportunity, and so I said yeah, and it's been awesome. And then I got to play them both together at the same time, so that was even cooler.
Honestly, that really sounds like it must have been a dream come true. Not only that, but not to mention the fact that I think there was a betting pool between at least the folks who worked as staff here, amongst who was the most comic book movie working actor right now, and you were definitely in the top run.
I got 4 at least. Dylan Dog, Superman. Scott Pilgrim, which is, it's a comic book, but it is, and
it's all sequential art.
Oh, and then Adam.
Yeah, pretty crazy. So,
Superman again.
And
Does that count?
in many forms. So the other thing I wanted to ask about is that just because it was not something as well known, at least as far as the series goes, but am I correct in understanding that Dylan Dog was a bit of a passion project of yours?
Yeah, I mean, in a way. So that film also went through 2 directors. The first director that I met with about it, after some time, went on to do a different project, I think, or something happened, I don't know. And because of wanting to have Sam Huntington be a part of it, it was Jimmy Olsen, and a dear friend. That became an exciting opportunity I really wanted to do. Then Gil Adler, who's the producer of Superman Returns, also came on to help produce Dylan Dog. And beyond that, my first roommate, Garrett Stroman, spent 7 years in Italy when he was growing up, so he spoke fluent Italian, and had Dylan Dog. So he had these, they were all in Italian. I couldn't read them, but I remember him showing them to me like years and years before Superman even. So when I told him that this was happening, he was like, dude, that's even cooler for me than Superman, because I grew up reading Dylan Dog. So that was cool. It was just kind of a unique thing that I knew who Dylan Dog was before it came to me, which most Americans probably didn't.
Yeah, it was definitely something that was really cool to hear about, particularly because there are a lot of comic book series that do not get that same kind of love or get brought to the attention of American audiences. But on a similar comic book related note, I am also to understand that you've had the pleasure of working alongside your wife doing Legends of Tomorrow. Now, what was the story leading all the way up to that? Just because you don't see a lot of couples, particularly in Hollywood, who prefer to do a lot of acting opposite one another.
Well, we've done a couple of projects before, a couple features and a short film prior to that, and it wasn't when she was offered the role of Nora Dark. It was 3 episodes in season 3, and we had nothing to do with each other. She was there to bring Damien back, and with the whole Mollis storyline. But because she's a fantastic actor, they kept her on because they saw they could do a lot of really cool things with her storyline and creating the father-daughter story between Damien Dark and Nora Dark. And then, inevitably, they decided they were going to try to put us together, and we were like, okay, we see what you're doing here, and I guess that's okay, but don't rush it. We got to Ross and Rachel this a little bit, attention and excitement. So, well, I don't know if they really listened to us or not, but yeah, it's awesome. We work really well together.
That's cool. Yeah, and it's definitely something where you don't want them to hotshot the on-screen interaction together. Plus, how nice is it to actually be able to talk about how talented your spouse is as an actor and actually be able to mean it?
Yeah, always. It's always better to be able to be truthful about what you're saying about anybody.
Indeed. So, for all of the things that you've got going on right now, what else can your fans look forward to?
Yeah, well, the most recent thing that's out right now is Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, the animated series on Netflix. And then I have a movie called Ick, which will be sold soon somewhere, and hopefully be coming to either theater or streaming service maybe as early as the end of the year. And it's a horror action comedy monster movie, PG-13, so a little scary and thrilling, but it's I'm told, and I've been assured that it won't be too much. Shouldn't really be much blood at all, because the monsters kind of looks like venomish, like blobby.
Oh, okay.
So it's gross when it absorbs people and things and stuff. But I don't generally like horror movies that much. But I like action comedy and Shaun of the Dead and that kind of thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Dylan Dog is a form of that. So I was excited about that opportunity. It's a great father-daughter story in there also, and some good music references, and Creed gets a big shout out, and it's pretty cool. So that whole part of the story, fun storyline.
That does actually sound pretty cool. But as you mentioned, being a fan of some of the greater horror comedies like Shaun of the Dead, what would you say were some of your biggest influences as an actor on the come up?
Well, I don't know what films influenced me as an actor necessarily, but I don't know if I can name that. That's a good question, but I can say, movies that inspired me and my creativity and my am just a big part of my life growing up. And Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, Back to the Future, Three Amigos, Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Rather eclectic.
Yeah, well, Braveheart used to be my favorite movie. I'm not sure if that's anymore, but I still love the story of William Wallace, and it's a beautiful movie to look at. Yeah, those are some of the tops. But I really enjoy storytelling. I wanted to be a writer, so I just love being able to create stories that can be entertaining, first of all, but also, the older and wiser I get, the more I want them to do even more heavy lifting, to do what they can to do more than just storytelling, but help us all find ways to live better lives.
And that's awesome. And and the other thing too, just want to ask you folks in attendance here, if hearing all of the fun comic book movies and mention of Monty Python, does it make you a little more comfortable to know that you are sitting in the room with a fellow geek?
Oh yeah. I put days and months into the original Warcraft. Broke my collarbone my freshman year of high school playing soccer after my first varsity game. I was crushed. I was literally crushed, but also crushed because soccer was my first love for a long time. But I found at Best Buy the original Warcraft, so I played a lot of that while I was recovering. I mean, I don't know how I did it with a broken collarbone, but I must have been. And I read a lot of fantasy. Anyway, I did back in the day. Not as much time for it now.
Oh yeah. No,
I play Magic the Gathering.
Oh yeah, that's really cool. Honestly, I can't.
It's fun.
Well, I mean, to people outside of this room, perhaps it's not cool at all. But for the rest of us, we know exactly where he's coming from, right, folks? So the other question I had was just that being able to do all of these things, how does it feel being able to live the dream as a fan, to be able to embody some of the characters that you see everybody else just absolutely adore, just playing nothing short of icons?
Yeah. It's an interesting life. It's a beautiful life. Very grateful. But for me, speaking just for me, there is a lot of responsibility that I have taken on, whether I had to or I am. Glutton for punishment? No, it's not punishment. It's not punishment at all. I'm being over the top. It's an interesting thing to play this character on such a large pedestal, to be the first Superman in film since Chris. And then just to be a representation of the archetype of hero, of the ultimate hero of Superman, has been something that's been taken a long time for me to process and to step into, because I played the guy, but until people saw the film, I didn't quite feel like I don't know if am I him yet, because I'm not necessarily him if other people don't see me as him. It certainly helped when I'd step on set and newcomers to set or visitors would, grown men and women sometimes crying with joy and the meeting Superman. So that was a pretty cool thing. And then for me, the way things went with the film Superman Returns not having a sequel, then I have self-doubt of, was it me? What could I have done? And that was like just a big human process for me to come through all that and process all of it. And then the beautiful gift of Legends of Tomorrow and Ray Palmer, and then Ray Palmer leading me back to Superman again, and that was a real bookend. Not that has to be an end, but it healed a lot of open wounds that I had still remaining from the experience, because just for the fact that I got asked, and that Warner Brothers said yes, and DC said yes, meant a lot to me. And then to see the response by all the fans and how much the return of this Superman, of this my version, Chris and this lineage of Superman was really just the best part of it. Because I stepped on set the first scene I did, and that was on the Batgirl set, and I did the scene with Lois, but the first time a whole crew saw the Superman suit was the Batgirl crew, and that was cool, and that was like. I didn't even have to say any more words on screen. Even the journey from my personal journey had reached like a level of achievement of comfort. Homeostasis is the word I want, but there's a better word for that. Equilibrium of just that the whole. Since then, you made it. You only missed a little bit. No, you're good.
Yeah, please, find a seat.
Seat here.
I have to go in a minute, but I actually have one question.
Oh, okay, 1 second. I'm just about to finish the story, and I'd love to hear your question before you gotta go. Sure. It really closed that for me, and now I'm able to kind of like, I think I'm able to sit with it and honor Chris and everyone and all the artists who've played Superman and been a part of telling the story of Superman much better, because I understand how much it's not about me. Mm-hmm. It is and it isn't. Just like, So anyway, it's a more like fluid flow of compliments. I'm able to receive it as the energy and the spirit of Superman, and it's not like me, Brandon, going, oh, well, I didn't know my Iowa niceness pushing the compliments away. It's like, oh, it is about me, but it's also about Supes, man. So, chill. Okay, question.
I just have a question.
Sure.
What was it like working with Edgar Wright? Very talented director.
Fantastic. He's amazing. He's a genius. I can't wait to work with him again. And I would say he's a great role model for directors because he knew everything he wanted to do. He's an excellent communicator, friendly person. Every day was a joy to go to set because he was the team leader and the captain of the ship, which I appreciated very much.
And what's your favorite Edgar Wright movie other than Scott Pilgrim?
Shaun of the Dead. Yep.
Definitely.
Yes. And what was your name?
Joseph.
Joseph. Thanks, Joseph.
Nice to meet you. Take care.
Okay.
Wow, all right, not often got all his questions answered, and then he just gets to dip out. Like Superman. That was one of the most gangster interactions I think I've seen.
Boldness.
Yeah. Just kidding. Questions? Cool, I'm out.
Do you have more, or should we ask lovely people if they have questions?
Honestly, I'm more than willing to turn the floor over to our audience.
Fantastic.
Did they talk to you anything about what the Superman Returns sequel would have been like?
Terrorists, Middle East stuff.
Who was the villain? Do you know?
It might have been like Brainiac and Metallo. I feel like were names that were very, but that's about all I know. Because, again, I wasn't told much. Because it never happened.
Yeah, just have the
I did everything I could to try to make it happen. I couldn't do anything. But.
And honestly, I was going to say that must be an almost unique experience that you must have had, being able to get, as you said, it wasn't the end of the story, but at least to achieve closure.
Yeah,
coming from
that's
something
there you go.
where it simply existed as a what if scenario, if you could continue doing the character, and then it was. And I can't imagine how nice it must have been to be able to see it years later.
15 years later.
As a more experienced and wiser artist. Yeah, I could only imagine.
Yeah.
So, who else has...
You pick out, because I don't...
All right, please.
So, okay, you're also a geek, so to speak, as like we are.
Yeah.
Who did you totally geek out when you met them?
Well, I will when I meet Joe Montana. I have a signed football from him, which is pretty amazing. I was pretty starstruck when I met Oprah.
That's a big one.
She's a huge figure.
This is mine, Garth Brooks.
Okay, sure. Yeah. I would say the other would be, sorry, politics. don't know why I said it like that. I had the honor to meet then Senator Obama in Indianola, Iowa, where I introduced him. Being an Iowan, and I went around to other places, and I think I gave a pretty I don't know about that speech. I've gotten better at my public speaking, but I was so nervous about that. And then I actually got to be in the White House, in the Oval Office with him, just the photographer, Pete, the photographer. And that was pretty epic, and I was very nervous and probably said a lot of word salad, like stupid things. I was there because I was an ambassador for Service Nation about the AmeriCorps program. For that reason. Anyway, so those, and if I think of somebody else, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
You.
What was it like portraying two different superhero characters for Crisis on Infinite Earths in the same episode?
Yeah, it was epic. It was really cool. I'd seen other actors do that because in Legends we had a couple of times where they weren't playing different characters, but they were playing themselves in a different time against the present day thing. I never got to do that. It was kind of annoying because of the way you shoot it. It's a little tedious, but sorry, my sparkling water is.
It's okay. I ended my questions just because I almost choked on mine. So.
I had to do some thinking to distinguish between Clark and Ray, and I was like, are they different? They are different. They are different. So that was the hardest part. Most challenging part was just doing that, but I did find that there's enough difference in them that it worked out. Because Ray is just like a big puppy dog, and Clark is that, but he's a little more contained, and other things, I guess, but stature maybe. But it was really cool. It was really cool. I felt very honored to be able to do that. Yeah.
What suit was more comfortable?
Important question.
The most recent. Yeah, and that's due to just like all kinds of suit technology. That's upgraded in almost 20 years. So that was a great part of it. And I also got to be a little bit more a part of the process. I had a little more say, kind of, not in the design necessarily, but the fit and all that, which is great. And the Atom suit is great to throw it in there, but I've had like 3 awesome suits, really, honestly. With the money that they invested in the Atom suit, and wonderful people who helped me, because I had to have Atom Tech help. Like if I was a knight and I had my squires, putting on my armor, because it literally was like putting on armor. And then the gadgets and the gears spinning and the lights in the helmet and all the stuff that they had a little electric set or controller to control that stuff. So yeah, it was cool.
Very nice. Oh, you in the back.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, now you can see me. What was it like working with Melissa Benoist?
Oh, she's wonderful. She's the sweetest. It was great to just meet her in the early days of Supergirl, also because, I gave her, I don't know if any of my knowledge was helpful to her, but I, gave her a little, my notes from flying and some of the things she might encounter and stuff before she proceeded. It was cool to just be in the stuff before I got to play Superman alongside her Supergirl. But that was really awesome to do, and to have a little Easter eggs and inside jokes that we got to do.
As a follow-up to that one, did you ever see, as a young actor, the point in your life that you would ever be telling the actor who was playing Supergirl, giving her tips on how to fly properly? And would that have just seemed like the most absurd flight of fancy?
Well, a long time ago, before Superman, yeah, for sure.
Now, if you if you hadn't gotten that, or just if life had taken a different turn, just because obviously we're dealing with the multiple branching paths and crises and whatnot, what would have been another superhero role you would have wanted to play? Just if there was anything that really would have been.
I mean, I suppose Captain America.
Honestly, yeah. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
Or Captain Marvel. I mean, which I can't do.
Yeah. I guess we have to tread carefully around the nomenclature.
I
there.
mean, it would have been fun to play Star-Lord because that's a amazing character. But Chris Pratt is like epic Star-Lord, so I wouldn't even mess with that. My name gets tossed around, at least on Twitter or whatever it used to be back in the day, a lot of for not Mr. Fantastic.
I was gonna say
Fantastic Four for Reed Richards, right? I auditioned for Johnny, the one that Chris got.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a funny. It's not that funny of a story, but maybe it is. I knew I was going to be testing for Superman, and then because of that got me into a lot of rooms, a lot of auditions that I wouldn't have gotten in before, and I was not a great auditioner. I'm still not the best auditioner. It's one of the hardest things about acting, or getting a job, and so I just couldn't get into and excited about anything else. So I gave a terrible read, not in front of Peter Jackson, thankfully, but a terrible read for the King Kong movie that he did around that time. As we were filming, that same one that was filming while we were filming Superman. And then my Johnny Flame, Flame On was probably a pretty bad audition too. I didn't get it. But Chris was perfect for that role. So. Much better than I would have done. I'm not that guy at all.
And just what a weird set of commonalities that he works for as two characters for Marvel.
Yeah.
You work as two characters for DC, and then you're both evil X's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Just parallel lives.
I knew that, but I hadn't quite. You put it the way you put it that way. It's a little bit interesting.
Yeah, that just that you're heroes in different formats,
Yeah.
and then villains together in the same movie.
Yeah. And I hate him, so it makes. He's a lovely guy.
And honestly, how much fun was it playing Todd Ingram?
Oh, so much fun. Oh, I love Todd Ingram. I love being ridiculous. I love being silly and ridiculous. That's the only kind of bad guy I really like. I know. Otherwise, I don't like playing bad guys very much.
Oh no.
I've done it, but I don't like it.
But and the other thing that I was going to ask is. It had been brought to my attention that, not only the fact that you come from a musical family, but that you learned how to play the bass to play Todd as well.
Yeah, yep. It was a requirement that I do my best.
Yeah.
And had a great teacher in Los Angeles, Marty, who I guess was Beck's teacher back in the day. So I had lessons with him in Los Angeles. Then when we went up to Toronto to film it, we had band practice with Bree and Tennessee Williams, who was a drummer, and Chris's last name from a band called Slade in Canada, or he is Chris Slade. Chris Slade, the band is something. Chris. He was awesome, and we had band practice, and that was sweet. So I learned to play the Black Sheep song, and then I just kept learning the bass battle riffs. And although while it's not my sound in any of the music, it's a professional. It is me, playing the whole Black Sheep, and then I'm told that it's all me. And I remember filming it, working very hard, and all the fingering shots are me, just not the best parts of what I did, of all the takes, and to somebody else's good music. So it was great.
No, yeah, especially because you can see the fact that the way that you are portrayed as a bassist, just the comparison between how Todd plays the bass versus how Scott plays the bass. It was just the fact that you looked like an intimidating badass beyond just being the psychokinetic, terror that you were, just being able to play that. Just there looking, just
watch out.
Yeah.
Besides learning the bass, did you become a vegan too?
No, but I do enjoy vegan meals every once in a while. We did eat a lot of vegan and vegetarian fare up in Toronto because there was a lot. It was wonderful. And Mark Weber, who is Stephen Stills, was a vegan or vegetarian. I can't remember the time, but and a couple other people. So.
Was it chicken parmesan?
I don't eat chicken parmigiana because it has gluten. So I don't eat gluten most of the time. That's about it.
Totally fair.
What about fight training for like punching the color out of people's hair?
No, that was pretty easy. You know, there's a stunt coordinator there, so that's mostly just lining up for camera to see what's going to sell it for camera the best. You angle the faces and just punch to do the right way. Sometimes you can be higher than you think it is, because if the camera's down here, you got to go low or high. But no, that one I didn't have to. We had like a fun little like training morning camp. They do a little like a boot camp in the morning for all the actors, because everybody else had a lot of fight stuff. So that was fun to participate in, but yeah, I didn't have to do much. My biggest, stunt was just the guitar or the bass.
That is seriously cool. Sir?
Are there any passion projects you would like to work on in the near future?
A lot. I have a lot of ideas. Let's see, what do I say? Been on and off writing a script with my buddy Sam Huntington, comedy. So get that done someday soon. There's a book that's been in, I don't know who has the rights to it now, but a Terry Brooks series called Magic Kingdom for Sale.
Oh, okay.
Sold.
If there was going to be any Shannara going on.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I play Panama Cruise.
There's a little nerd pull for you.
They did that,
Yeah.
The MTV did. They actually did it of all the fantasy series that I'm a fan of. They did the best of that, surprisingly. The 2 seasons of that show, I think it was. They did Sword of Truth, which was not good. CW just destroyed that. And it was between Sam Raimi and myself and Gil Adler, trying to get the rights for it. And I wanted to do, this is back in 2008, 2009, and I wanted to do film and TV. I was going to it's a book. We can do some film and we can do some TV to tell the story. Anyway, that didn't work out. And then the other one is Wheel of Time. And I always had high hopes. I was very excited for the Amazon series, and that's all I say. I haven't watched much of it. So anyway, but so Shannara would be great to do, but or any of his other ones. But I like that because I could play Ben, it's a lawyer who buys this, it's a catalog of back when they had catalogs. Kids you used to like pick out your Christmas presents, look at a catalog, and there's a special catalog that has, or one that has like these really unique opportunities you can buy, outlandish things. And there was an ad for buying this magical kingdom for $1 million. And this guy's had some tragedy in his life, and he's like, I mean, all right. And then he steps into the magic kingdom of Landover. It's fun.
Yeah.
So that.
At first I was going to say I had no idea how many people it would make it really difficult for me to say you in the Superman shirt.
So you said, yeah.
Oh, let's go with Mario, and then we'll get back to you.
Yeah.
So if they were directly adapted Kingdom Come for a movie, would you come back if they asked you?
I mean, I would. I mean, yeah. my that awesome hesitation is only because I love where the story gets to.
Right.
Yep.
But I still have a challenge with some aspects of how Superman gets there, matched at least mostly just matched with how do you line that up to Superman Returns,
right.
Superman, because I don't think that is a direct translation for where Kingdom Come Superman starts is not where my Superman starts.
For sure.
So I can get there, which is what I did in
Crisis.
Some of that. I don't know how much we imagined actually happened, what aspects fully in the dream. Fast forward of getting us to Crisis on Infinite Earth, but But I would want to somehow, like, I don't know, that would be my wish, was somehow meld that into there, because I don't want to play any other kind of Superman. These, while there's similarities again where he gets to,
For sure.
where my judgment of where he starts in that is amazing, but just, you know, not the same.
Indeed. So we have enough time for one more question, folks.
How about 2?
All right, we'll do that.
3.
Okay, let's do 3. You know, he is the man with the cape, so please, go right ahead.
What was your favorite moment on Legends?
So many favorite moments. I loved my sword fight with Damien Dark in the snow in the Camelot episode, because it's fantasy, and my first sword fighting, real sword fighting, even if they were plastic. So was my armor. They made it much more lightweight, so it's all right. I love a lot of the moments. We had some real fun moments filming the George Lucas episode. That's kind of when Nate and Ray really started to buddy up even more and just be stupid, funny. And so that was fun, and Nick and I obviously became friends from that. And you know, then some real fun moments. You know, speaking of Nora and Courtney, of the comedy bits that we got to do, because she's very funny. And hasn't had a lot of opportunity to do that, so it's fun to do that. Because the other stuff we've done had been very dramatic, so it was nice to have, you know, some different energy.
Seriously.
Okay,
Sir.
On everything you've ever been on,
Yeah.
since you are a big geek, did you collect anything that was particularly from like a movie or show or anything? Just said, I'll take this home with me.
I mean, there's a lot of what I liked from Superman, but I wasn't given it. I mean, I asked many times for a suit, I haven't gotten that. But the one project that I have the most things are probably from Dylan Dog, actually, because I was a part of that process more, and I guess I kind of was a producer. Maybe I got listed as a producer anyway. But I have this in the movie there in Dylan's office. There's these yellow ceramic horses that are bookends, and I got those, and I got some bullet casings from, you know, my not target, but practicing firing the blanks and stuff. A bunch of other stuff I can't even remember, like vials from the, you know, the blood thing was. So yeah, I like to give some of that. The movie I did, I asked the art department to take a couple paintings that they gotten from the Goodwill because I liked, you know. And so I have a fun little, you know, memorabilia place in my thing. But I mean, I have other geeky things that just didn't come from movies because I've been a part of the geeky stuff, enough of the geeky stuff that I super geek out.
I was gonna say. So, awesome. Yes.
So you said the audition process for Superman took like 7 months.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about what it was like when you got it, and then what you did to celebrate, if anything?
Yeah. Let's see. Well, I found out I did a screen test. My second screen test. That was in October, I think, of 2004. And I pretty much knew, like, that day, there were several things that happened that day, the way people were talking to me and stuff that was happening. It was like, this is my job. This is my job. I'm the only one. I think this is my job. It actually felt like that from the beginning of that second go around for me when Superman Returns was the project. But I had to wait and head to the studio, Alan Horn, and had to sign off and, you know, make sure, get all the ducks in a row and all that. So then it was a week of kind of just like agony, because then LatinoReview.com put out, you know, gossip that I'd gotten the role, that it was me. So then I felt like I couldn't go anywhere because people were after me. My sister's friend who I don't know, somebody who is in the paparazzi world, said there was a bounty on me to get like a picture, first picture of me out in public. And I was like, oh, what is that? So I basically hid in my apartment in Sherman Oaks in California for like a week until I actually had the meeting with Alan. And then it was like that night or the next day I was in Gil Adden, in the producer's office at Warner Brothers. And then I got a call in Gil's office, it was like in the afternoon, from Business Affairs. And that's how I found it. It was like Business Affairs calling to say, like, congratulations. I didn't really say congratulations, but they said basically, yeah, you're officially got the job. I was like, amazing. And then I, was excited. And then I called my parents. And they, I kind of teased them a little bit about it. Guess who's calling? Something like that. And then they screamed and yelled and cried. And that was the biggest celebration part of it, because I had been, 7 months. It wasn't shocking. It was just like, oh, thank God. And then I had a party with friends and stuff later. And,
yeah, it's one of those congratulations. Now here's the new tax forms you have to file.
Exactly.
And on the exciting note of taxes, everybody, I suppose we'll have to call it a panel.
Usually clears a room.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everybody, please give it up for our man of the hour, Mr. Brandon